This is Magic City Soccer.
Visiting the facilities, and that just continues to add to the level of excitement. But to have all the guys in, to get to know all the different faces and personalities, it's going to be a great start.
What's realistic? You have to be a leader type from the start, given your experience and given some of the youth on this team?
We definitely have both. Right? We're going to have young players and we're going to have experienced players. And I think what's really nice when you look at the experience on North Vets, these are guys who have won wherever they're at. Whether it's guys in the front or guys in the back, they've won trophies, they understand what it takes to win in this league. Because it's a difficult league, and there's a lot of different nuances that maybe other players coming from different leagues aren't familiar with. And so it's important for us to not only help them make those adjustments, but help make the necessary adjustments for this team to be successful. And then of course some of the younger players, these are the difference makers. These are guys that are really going to complement our team to make us exciting, to make us different. And it's important that they understand it. So this is where we got to come in and help. As far as me personally, I think my role is just to make this team as good as possible. And whether that's on the field and performing each and every day, whether it's in practice or in the game, or just empowering guys in the locker room to find their own stride so that they can add to the personality of this team. That's what I hope to do.
Luis, with the ongoing season negotiations, is it different starting the preseason with the negotiations you know? You have been through it, unfortunately.
I have. So in 2015, as preseason started, we were also going through CBA negotiations. I think the challenge this time around is there are so many guys who are new to this league. So to be able to introduce them and help them understand what the CBA is going to be a pretty tall task. But as a representative of the player pool, as one of the executive board members of the Players Association, that's something that I take a lot of pride in and take a lot of joy in helping guys navigate and understand some of the issues that are going on in the league. And that's something that we'll definitely have to tackle this week.
How would you say those negotiations are going?
So if I had to compare them to 2015, what's been very positive is the lines of communication. I think on both sides of the table there's a lot of understanding of what they're trying to accomplish and what we're trying to accomplish. And that's made the communication seamless, and it's allowed us to make progress. If I had to actually rate where we stand, that's a lot more difficult, but I can say that it's been really positive.
We know there's a lot of individual talent in this club. We know that already, of course, but just from the names. But what is the challenge as far as taking a bunch of talented individuals and trying to turn it into a club that can win right away? Because the expectation here is pretty clearly to be competitive right now.
Yeah, I'm really glad that at least you can see from this organization's perspective they want to win right away. And that's why they're accumulating the sort of team and roster that they have. And I mean, I imagine they'll continue to add players throughout preseason and throughout this actual season. But the real challenge, I guess, is something that I can't completely appreciate yet because I've never been part of an expansion team. I've never been part of a startup, if you will. But when I look back at my experience and try to draw upon the challenges that we've had in other locker rooms, it's getting everyone on the same page. You don't want us to be robots. You don't want us to be the same person. You want everyone to be able to feel free and safe to be who they are. But the most important thing is they can feel free and safe to be who they are within the parameters of helping this team win.
Can you talk about Diego Alonso as a coach and just, your first meetings with him? What's your first impressions?
So he spoke to us 2 nights ago, and his introduction I thought was incredible. I think after he spoke, I was ready to go train, except it was 8 o'clock at night, so I'm glad we didn't train. But his introduction was great, and I know that he's not comfortable speaking English right now, but I think his base is really good and he understands a lot. But it's also important from both sides, right? Because we do have a blend of cultures, heavily Hispanic, and then of course guys that are based in the United States, to find understanding between both sides. And I think his lead, where he wants to learn English right away, is also going to be something that causes guys that are speaking English to learn Spanish as well, so that we can bridge that gap.
What did he say? What impressed you about what he said in the introduction?
The way that we want to play, We want to play exciting, free-flowing soccer. We want to constantly put teams under pressure. We want to be a attack-minded team. And when guys hear that, I think they get excited because they want to play the beautiful game. And the one thing as a goalkeeper that I was really excited about is he's not going to run us all day long. So he wants us to be on the field with the ball, understanding his tactics, and being the sort of team that he wants us to be.
Your legacy is pretty secure as a player at this point. What's your personal motivation at this point?
I don't know if I entirely agree with that statement. I don't know if you can say your legacy is secure until it's done. I think there's a lot of people that we've seen in the last decade and longer that at the very end it didn't go very well. And I think that's what this challenge is all about is I went to an organization that was already experiencing success. I was a part of locker rooms that took it to the next level of success. And as I go into this challenge, it's completely new. There's nothing to draw from. And for me personally, at least I have my experiences previously to draw and really help other guys understand what it takes to be successful. But I guess I feel better just personally as a leader to see that I'm not in this alone. The talent that they've collected, the experience that they've collected on this roster is only going to make us stronger, I think, not only for the team, but for me as a leader as well. And so when you talk about success and legacy and all those really nice things, it's not secure until it's done. And I think for me, my perspective, my mindset has always been I want to leave the place better than I found it. And I think that this place is no exception. And I know that there isn't necessarily a track record yet because it is the very beginning. But if I can help this organization and this team start off well, be a part of history from the get-go, then maybe that's the catalyst for many, many, many more decades of success.
Is it hard to get training going when you know that there are pieces that are still coming? And as players, how do you go into training knowing that Paul said as many as 6 more moves? You've never experienced that because this is new, and what do you think that'll be like?
I didn't know Paul said there was 6 more, so that's news to me. But my focus is on the guys that are here. And even as I think about other teams I've been a part of, there's always transition, there's always change. I remember my first couple of years at the New York Red Bulls, the amount of turnover was insane during off season. So I guess I have experienced it to a degree, but my focus has always been on the guys that are here on the field each and every day, because it's this preparation that we're going to go through today, and for the next 6 weeks, that's going to get us ready for March 1st. And so if guys are here coming in later, then that's fine, because they're going to integrate with the team quickly. But until then, it's the guys that are on the field today that we're going to focus on becoming the sort of team that can be successful in this league from day one.
You mentioned how with
how is the impact of the new rules in your game as a goalkeeper?
So I think I need to learn all the new rules. The one that sticks out right off the bat is the goal kick rule. And of course, if we're going to look to play out the back, if that's a tactic that we're going to use, then I'll have to adjust quickly. But how many new rules are there?
Do you feel comfortable with the play with the foot?
I feel like I have a really good foundation, and I think with the training that we're going to implement, I'm only going to become better as a goalkeeper using my feet all the time.
You mentioned how
especially with that new team coming.
I think it's massive. I think it's something that can't be understated, because AJ has won 3 MLS Cups with LA Galaxy. He won US Open Cup with Houston Dynamo. And Roman has been in the final, I think, the last 4 out of the 5 years. He's helped Panama go to the World Cup, and he's been part of some of the biggest moments in the history of that entire country when it comes to soccer. So having that sort of experience and those guys, the leadership qualities that they're going to bring, especially in the back, where a lot of teams, especially new teams, are going to spend most of their money on the front, those are assets. And it's those sort of assets that's going to help this team be successful. So for me personally as a goalkeeper, when I saw that they were signing these types of players, it only made me more confident in what we're trying to accomplish.
you mentioned how everything is new for you in terms of this new club, but it's also new for you in terms of being on a new team. How was it in terms of integrating into a new squad? Because I imagine your familiarity with the Red Bulls is such that moving to any team would have been an adjustment for you.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun, right? I think when I look back at my time with the New York Red Bulls, the first thing that comes to mind is the success that we had. But also when I'm trying to be critical of myself, the type of player I am, maybe I got a little too used to things, and when things became too familiar, I wasn't growing the same way. Of course, I'm the type of person that's constantly being critical of myself and evaluating myself, thinking that I can be a better goalkeeper today than I was yesterday. And so in the same sense, as a leader, I'm really going to push myself to be a better leader today going forward than I was yesterday. And maybe some of the familiarity led to complacency and maybe stuck in some of my thinking. But I think what some of the guys realized right away is my Spanish is a lot better in text form than it is in spoken form. But that's something that sticks out right away, is in order to help guys understand the difficulties of this league, to help them navigate the challenges of this league, sometimes I'm going to have to be able to speak to them in Spanish. And so that's something that I would like to learn right off the bat. It's something that I'd like to be able to answer questions with the media in Spanish. And so I think it's one thing that comes to mind right away. But when I think about this upcoming season, I know there are going to be challenges. I know that there's going to be ups and downs. And that's why I'm here. This is why they have assembled the group of veterans that they have, is so that we can make that as smooth as possible and that we can help this team be as successful as possible.
Thank you, Luis.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.